Baptist Church, which I told you was founded by those 13 African Americans who saved Ruthie, Ruthie Blackburn from slavery. All right, so they will found this church, Second Baptist, and of course, one thing that we know immediately is it's called Second Baptist. So that should let us know one thing: it's a First Baptist somewhere. And so, First Baptist, it's kind of like a Second Baptist movement throughout the country. The Second Baptist was a black church, the first black-led congregation in the whole Midwest. So not just Michigan, but Wisconsin, Illinois, Ohio, Minnesota, none of them had a black-led congregation before this one. That's first. But the second thing is, First Baptist was a white church that was racist. Okay, so black people, of course, had to start their own church, and it was First Baptist. And if you go to most cities in the country, most major cities that have a large black population, you're gonna probably see a Second Baptist, and it's gonna probably be black. And First Baptist was white and it was racist, and that's why you had a Second Baptist.
Yeah, I know the first.
Right.
Always white church.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Except in Montgomery, Alabama. In Montgomery, Alabama, there was a First Baptist. It was racist. It was white. And black people, of course, didn't want to be a part of that, so they started their own church, and it was called First Baptist Colored. So they didn't do Second. They was First Baptist too, but they was the colored, black First Baptist. And they were started by, similar to this, 13 black people who had either escaped from slavery or helped other black people escape from slavery. So their church was connected to the abolitionist movement. And as time went on, some black people, they got some good jobs. Some of them became attorneys, some of them became teachers, some of them became, worked at the bank, some of them became secretaries, and they thought they were disconnected from slavery, and they didn't want to be connected to slavery. So those more, what some people would call today bougie, right? They left First Baptist in Montgomery, Alabama, and left First Baptist, started their own church down the street and around the corner on Dexter Avenue in Montgomery. It became known as Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, as you know, or as you should know, is a church where Martin Luther King Jr. became pastor at 26 years old and led the Montgomery bus boycott. So that's the history of that church. So this is Second Baptist Church. Its first minister, William Monroe, was one of the 13 people at that meeting. They originated in the French's home. Before they had a building, their church was inside of George French and Caroline French's home. Then they got a building. That first building burned down, and then they got a second building that they put right there. It was wooden back then. Of course, it's all brick building now. But right here, can y'all see it? It's right here. So it was all wooden building. They had a little fence around it. But since then, as you can see, it's expanded all the way to that end, and then even further this way. And this church, again, to bring up Montgomery again one more time, is that this church was the largest donor to the Montgomery bus boycott than any other church in the country. This church here in Detroit. In 1859, Frederick Douglass came here to speak. He spoke in two places. He spoke at City Hall, the old one that was across from campus Martius. He spoke there, and he spoke here. All right, so Frederick Douglass came to Detroit. He came twice, but in one visit, he spoke at two places. And he stayed at William Lambert's house. We're not walking there, but William Lambert's house is down at the Martin Luther King homes on St. Albans and Larned and St. Albans. There's a marker there. So if you're ever going down to Shane Park, take that way. And then just look at the marker and get out and read the marker. William Lambert was one of those black leaders, and he was a member here at Second Baptist Church. Right?